Welcome to Oscar Sunday. I'm Austin Johnson.
I'm Connor Eyzaguirre.
And happy belated Thanksgiving to you all. It's a weird holiday, but it's fun to hang out with family and friends, right? It's gonna be nice to hang out with you, Connor. Do a Best Picture Showdown. We haven't done one of these together since Parasite, which was episode 124. Then right after that, you left for Germany. So that's why we did it episode 124. We usually wait till every fifth episode, right? But we had to we had to have you on for Parasite. So uh, we pushed that forward. So it's been 6 episodes since we've done one. This is episode 130. Crazy. And we're going to be covering the 75th Academy Awards, which saw Chicago win Best Picture. 13-time nominee, 6 wins. This is a heavy hitter when it comes to modern Oscar history. There's not a lot of films that do that kind of damage in one ceremony. So this is one of the big ones from that decade and from the modern era of the Oscars. Chicago beat Gangs of New York, The Hours, Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, and The Pianist. It's a pretty solid group. We've had some duds here and there as far as overall Best Picture groups. When it comes to like when it was 5 movies, you're like, there's always like a couple not so great ones. Here, every movie's really worth a conversation. Every movie has something to say. So we're gonna rank those here in a little bit. We're gonna give awards out to Chicago, and we're gonna look at the 75th Academy Awards at the end of the show. But this is special territory. This is gonna be our 20th Best Picture Showdown, and I was at work tonight. We're recording this on a Friday night, the Friday after Thanksgiving, and I was finishing up my 10th day in a row at work, and it was obvious. I work at a grocery store, so it was complete mayhem, and I'm surprised I'm here. Like mentally, like here because I'm fucking drained, and I'm ready to have some days off and just kind of hang out and relax. But this is for me. This is fun. This is cathartic, and I wouldn't miss fucking Showdown for anything. So these showdowns, I wanted to kind of run through real quick all the ones we've done. I think I'm gonna go by episode, like in order chronologically of what we've done,
No.
and just kind of it's just I was writing them down at work the last like 30 minutes of my shift. I was like, I want to write these down and just kind of look at them, like right in front of me. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna bring it up on the show because this is a really interesting group of movies we've done, and some that we both love, some that we were both kind of like and some that were just solid but not Best Picture winners. Like
Yeah.
we've kind of seen everything, seen everything we can possibly see. So obviously, we started the show in June of 2020, and we did some Best Picture movies, but we didn't do Best Picture showdowns. We didn't quite know what to do with those. We were just kind of fucking around, and we did Rocky and On the Waterfront, like big movies. And finally, when we got to episode 25, the pivotal moment of this podcast for sure, we were covering Kramer versus Kramer, and we both were like, "Hey, let's start watching all of them. The couple weeks leading up to the episode, let's watch all of the Best Picture nominees, no matter what it takes. If it means we got to rent something, we got to buy something. Let's commit to it. Let's fucking do it. So we did Kramer vs. Kramer in 1979, and we were both like, this is a good fucking group of movies, right? You got Apocalypse Now and Norma Ray and Breaking Away and all that jazz. Like it's a cool fucking group. It's probably my favorite like 5 nominee Best Picture group of all time that I've like found. And we both had a blast with that one. It's really cool. And once we did that, we were both like, that was fun. That was cool. We ranked them. We talked about each movie. So every fifth episode, we started to just follow that formula. And I don't know about you, but for me, it reinvigorated me.
Oh, it's been incredibly rewarding. It's given me an opportunity to watch a whole bunch of films I had either never heard of or just didn't really like want to see. But doing it this way, having to kind of force it, has just made the journey so much more like exciting. I've discovered some of my favorite films through this, and I'm very grateful you had this idea. This has been like the cornerstone of the show. Really, it's awesome.
Yeah, it really is. It's kind of like we have fun and we make like these kind of personal picks in between, and then we come together for these every fifth episode to like really get down to the nitty gritty, watch a bunch of movies, kind of figure out if they're worth a Best Picture nominee
Yeah.
or if the Academy was wrong. I'd say it's about 50-50, you know.
Yeah.
We've covered a total of 115 movies that are Best Picture nominees through 20 of these episodes. and I'd say like half of those movies I fucking love. And all, you know, maybe even more than that. You know, there's been a clear 30 or 40 where I'm like, nah, I'm good. Never gonna watch this again, you know?
Yeah, after doing a shit ton of these, I am grateful that the duds are rare. Like for the most part, the Academy did know what they were doing. There is just the occasional bribe, but you know, we figured that out early.
Yeah. And when you do, there's a difference between doing a recent year and doing like a really old year where there's just like 1961 Fanny, you know, just like we both were like, fuck that movie. Some of those earlier years, you're just gonna find some movies that are really not worth another visit, a revisit, a rewatch, however you want to call it. You know, it's just like not worth it. So speaking of 1960s, episode 30 was when we went to the 33rd Academy Awards and we talked about The Apartment. We found we both liked that movie prior. You know, it's just fucking lights out. It's just a great, like, the definition of a Best Picture winner. You know, it's just awesome. But there's a little movie called Elmer Gantry that we both discovered through that episode, and now it's like one of my, you know, fucking, I don't know, 30 or 40 favorite movies of all time. You know, it's like one of those that just has jumped into the ring of, holy hell, I love this movie, and Burt Lancaster is the guy. Like, he is that dude. So that was a really special episode because those two movies were worth all of our time. I believe the other movies from that year were The Sundowners, Sons and Lovers, and The Alamo. Not a good group overall, but those two movies were worth that time.
They were, and we wouldn't have known that had we not do the showdown. I mean, Elmer Gantry. At that point, I didn't know who Burt Lancaster was. I didn't know what this movie was, and it was just
Right.
I saw a 2.5 hour runtime, and I'm like, oh Christ! And then I put it on, and I'm like, oh, okay. Like within 5 minutes, I'm like, okay, I like this. And then I just got sucked in. It's fucking awesome, and yeah, I'm just waiting. It's gonna be here. I'm just waiting.
It's gonna get its own episode. It's one of those. It's like same as Treasure of the Sierra Madre. Before we did the proper showdowns, we did kind of a makeshift showdown with 1948. We watched all 5 movies, but we didn't really know what to do with them. But we knew that we found 4 really special movies in a shitty movie called Hamlet. And you know, Treasure of the Sierra Madre became this movie that's been a focal point of how we talk about movies.
Yeah.
Elmer Gantry is kind of in that same tier of, holy shit, I'm glad we did this.
I think we always subconsciously wanted to do something like this. And what we did with Hamlet just naturally, I think, proved that. I think if we hadn't done it then, I don't know if we would have. I think we would have eventually figured it out, but I don't think we would have done it that soon.
Okay, correct. So like Hamlet is episode 16. 9 episodes later, we're doing Kramer vs. Kramer, episode 25, like full on Best Picture Showdown. And we haven't stopped. So episode 30, The Apartment. Episode 35, we did Moonlight 2016. That was obviously a very, very personal pick, and I had a lot of fun watching that movie. For this show, it was one of those like special moments where I was like, I finally get to unleash all these thoughts that I have about this masterpiece. That was great. The next one, episode 40, 1981, Chariots of Fire. Probably the worst Best Picture winner we've covered.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I actually don't think it's very close. After that, I don't even know what I would point to next. But yeah, that was weak. But at the same time, we discovered Atlantic City through it. So I mean, fuck it. That was worth it. The next one was American Beauty, 1999. 1999 being like, you know, one of the better years in movies, that like especially in American movies. So we had a blast talking about 1999, talking about honestly a fantastic movie, an American Beauty, you know, and it's obviously a tough Kevin Spacey conversation that you kind of have to have. But that movie rules, and I'll kind of stand by it. So that was a good episode. That was episode 45.
Yeah, American Beauty. I refuse to let Kevin Spacey's actions take that movie away from me because it is so much more than him. It is a
Oh
great
yeah.
movie, a brilliant insight into just a midlife crisis and reclaiming your own life that he happens to be a part of. And to me, the movie still counts. And I'm glad we were able to kind of, make our stance known with that episode.
Yep, I'm with you 100%. After that, I don't know if you remember, but we did a little trilogy called The Lord of the Rings for episode 50. Um, that we did not do a Best Picture Showdown for that. We instead did like a 3-hour episode on all three Lord of the Rings movies, and we gave awards out to each movie, like fucking the idiots we are. That was so much fun. I still remember just how much joy we both had doing that episode, and we decided that so early in Oscar Sunday. We were like, episode 50, we got to do something special. We were like, Lord of the fucking Rings, But one day we will go back around, do a little U-turn, and we will do a proper Best Picture Showdown on Return of the King, because 2003 is a year we need to cover for these, So we didn't do that with that episode. We kind of changed years. So that was really cool. That would be the 74th through the 76th Academy Awards that we were kind of like, we mashed them together just so we could talk about Lord of the Rings. The next one was episode 55, From Here to Eternity, 1953. Mm-hmm. Great movie. That was a fun ass episode. We both watched that movie for the first time, and we were like, God damn, there was a reason, we had heard so much about it before.
I remember that one having like no competition in terms of the nominees.
It was like Shane, Roman Holiday, Julius Caesar, The Robe. Yeah, come on.
That was a joke, but that movie was fantastic.
Yeah. Roman Holiday, I get it. It's cute, cool, whatever. But like From Here to Eternity is like fucking epic. And Burt Lancaster putting in another shift in that movie. That guy's the man. The next one, this is a good one. 1992, Unforgiven, episode 60. We both had a few good men at the top. You were blown away by Scent of a Woman. And it was fun to talk about Unforgiven because that movie kicks ass.
Yeah, that was fun. That movie, like that showdown, was special because I've heard nothing but just negative shit about Scent of a Woman. And then I finally watched it and I'm like, oh, this is why he won this. This is it's a very good movie. It's just, Pacino's 70s run is way better. I get that. Yeah. But if you're not going to give it to him, then this is the movie you should give it to him for.
I agree. I just, that guy Denzel Washington and Malcolm X. Oh boy,
Yeah.
It's tough beat.
It is tough. It is tough. But yeah, we had some great films there. And was that Howard's End? Was that in that bunch?
Howard's End and
The Crying Game, right?
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of The Crying Game, but it's all right. And Howard's End, it's not the most memorable, but those other three are solid.
I was so worried The Hours was going to be another Howard's End. I was so grateful it wasn't.
It indeed is not. The Hours is, I'll have a lot to say about that one. After that, episode 65, The Best Years of Our Lives, 1946. That was, let's see, Razor's Edge.
It's a Wonderful Life.
It's a Wonderful Life, classic. I can't remember the others.
Yeah, neither can I. They must not have stuck.
Yeah, I mean, I remembered fucking The Robe and Julius Caesar, but I can't remember those 1946 movies. I also get, confused because we did, soon we'll be talking about 1945 and it was like Spellbound, and I'm like, I get them kind of confused, those 40s movies. Anyways, Best Years of Our Lives, I liked a lot. I remember you were a little bit bored because it is like fucking 9 hours. But it's, I think it's a good movie, and It's a Wonderful Life is fucking great. And that's certainly a movie we'll do in the future.
Here, I've got the nominees for you. Henry V, which oh my God. And the Yearling, which we also did not care for.
Okay. Yeah. Bad group. Oh God. The Yearling. I don't remember it at all.
Yeah. Gregory Peck and a deer. That's all I got.
Henry V fucking
just Laurence Olivier just stroking it with Shakespeare's dick.
I really hope because we've shit on Hamlet and Henry V. I hope there's a like Laurence Olivier stan like listening right now, like fuck these guys, you know.
Yeah. Well, I know he's not going to win us over with Othello. So, I mean,
no. Oh yeah, dear Lord. Let's move on. 1970. 1971. The French Connection. That was episode 70. This is a group. You know, you got Clockwork Orange, and you got Fiddler on the Roof, and you got fucking Last Picture Show. Like, holy shit! Like, some good fucking movies.
Was that the Nicholas and Alexandra was the fifth, right, on that one?
That was the fifth, and we both were like, eh.
Yeah, that was okay, but everything else in that group was so good, I didn't really care.
Those three, and you know, meaning A Clockwork Orange, Last Picture Show, and French Connection, any year, like those three could win. You know what I mean? Like they're that good in their own lane. They're that good. Last Picture Show is like a life-changing movie. French Connection is one of the most exciting 70s movies. The 70s were just, it's just where it's fucking at. After that, episode 75, we did Nomadland, 93rd Academy Awards, 2020. That's a good group. You know, there's fucking 9 movies, so I don't want to name them all, but you know, we had fun. We had fun with that. We both have some movies we really stand by. You know, I really stand by Sound of Metal, and you really stand by Promising Young Woman. And we like had a fun time kind of debating those. Like that was a good episode. It was a little bit divisive between us as fans, but we came out like, oh, that was cool. That was good. You know, we had a good showdown.
Yeah, and it's hard to really judge those films' longevity because it's only been like 2 years.
Yeah.
So, you know, doing those more newer showdowns, it's tough, but you know, we use what we got. And
we also did that last year. So like those movies were only a year old.
That's right. So, yeah.
And some of them not even a year old because like remember fucking Judas and the Black Messiah came out like in fucking February, you know? Yeah. So a lot of those movies didn't get to breathe properly. I don't think I'll ever do that again. Like schedule a showdown. I think the minimum now I think I'm going to go 3 years. I think that's like the proper amount of time for movies to have a life. And it's also better to rewatch them, not just like 6 months after. Instead, you catch my drift. After that, episode 80, we did 1961, West Side Story. And we both were like, nah. We're both way bigger fans of Judgment at Nuremberg and The Hustler. Like, it's just not even close. West Side Story has no seat at the table when it comes to those two movies as far as you and I are concerned. I know people, if they're listening, and they're probably like, well, the choreography, yeah. Cool. I like neat. I've never watched a gangster movie where they like slap each other and fucking dance around each other. I don't know. I'm all for like bending genres and mixing genres. But with West Side Story, I'm just like, what the fuck is this? There's brown face everywhere. Yeah. And to be like, oh, it's 60 years old is like, you can't be stupid then, you know, you got to hold people accountable no matter what decade it is. Because there's movies coming out in the 60s and 70s that are light years ahead in their awareness of what they're actually doing. So it's a movie that's just not for me and you. Like, we just don't like it. And I think we had it like 5th. In that group. Oh no, Fanny was 5th. West Side Story, and what was the we like that one. Anthony Quinn, Gregory Peck, Jesus.
Guns of Navarone.
There you go. Guns of Navarone. We both liked that movie.
That was awesome. That was a cool movie. It's a decent group overall. You got 3 legit movies, and then one that's fine, and the other one that just completely sucks. Yeah, and it's weird when you've got in the same year, in the same grouping, you've got a culturally insensitive film like West Side Story, and then you've got a super respectful and reverent film like Judgment at Nuremberg, and you just shut that out.
Yeah, well, I think I'll be honest. I think West Side Story is kind of in the same vein as Chicago winning. I think it's like the safe pick. You mentioned that before we started recording. Like, it's just like okay to like vote for the musical that everybody went and saw in theaters and was like, that was fun.
Yeah.
I Judgment at Nuremberg is so much more challenging and so much tougher to kind of, digest as a viewer. And The Hustler, is like one of the movie star performances of all time in Paul Newman, and I love that movie to death. That's the one I'll rewatch the most, just because it's Judgment Nuremberg's so tough, but I like Nuremberg better as a winner. I don't think people want to choose movies that are that difficult to take on.
Well, it took till 93, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
And
No, yeah, the '90s see some tough stuff there. Yeah,
yeah. But I'm with you on The Hustler. That movie's just fucking cool. That movie's just, Paul Newman with a pool cue. Just, what do you say? What do you got? It's so fucking cool.
fucking fats. Yeah, yeah. Love that movie. I just want to watch it now after talking about it. Next up, possibly my favorite showdown we did, because it ended up being such a special episode, is episode 85, 2007, No Country for Old Men.
Oh,
We ended up talking about No Country and There Will Be Blood the same amount of time. And what was cool about that was my whole adult life, really my whole life from like age 14 or 15 to now, like half of my life, I've thought that is the coolest 1-2 race in Best Picture history. These two masterpieces that come out in the same year. It's very rare, especially in this century, that literal masterpieces come out. Like, both directors might have come out with their best work in the same year. And then, we've brought up many times the Zodiac thing is like hanging out. Hey, it's like outside the coffee shop, just like waving, at Paul Thomas Anderson and the Coens. David Fincher's like, look at what I did.
It reminds me of the beginning of Willy Wonka, when Charlie's watching all those kids like get the free candy during the Candyman song, and he's just like, "Aw."
Yeah,
like just watching from outside, like he doesn't get to play.
Yeah, like I did something just as good. What's going on? But the rest of that group is good. I like Juno, I like Atonement, and I like Michael Clayton a lot. So that's one of the strongest groups that I know of. Episode 90, 12 Years a Slave, very, very tough movie. Really interesting Best Picture year. Very like wide variance of kinds of storytelling, and it obviously got deep on that episode because the movie's deep and it's tough. And we just did that earlier this year in February, and it was one that I won't forget. But it's also a movie that's just so tough. You like have to prepare to talk about it. You have to be ready. You have to be in the right mindset. And you and I have done that a few times where it's like, oof, not everybody wants to do this, but it's important as a movie podcast to talk about all kinds of movies.
Yeah, I went into that episode fully aware that this was the last time I'm going to watch that movie, because I'm not putting myself through that nightmare again.
I totally understand. Totally understand, my man. Episode 95. That was you and Caleb doing Oscar predictions. Because I can't remember why. I don't remember.
I think, was that when Willow had a minor health scare?
I think you're right. It was about it was like in late February, early March, right before the Oscars. You and I had planned to do kind of well, wait, it was probably the day of the Oscars.
It was, yeah, it had to have been, or the day before, like that it happened.
I can't remember what happened.
Yeah.
Can't remember. I think it had to do with Willow. Yeah.
I don't remember the exact details, but I do remember that is why you couldn't be there. Yeah, that had to have been.
Yeah. And then you and I did, when we still had sneak preview, we recorded Sunday night after the Oscars.
That's what
Okay. So probably like Friday or Saturday when we were supposed to record, Willow was sick.
And then Sunday you were supposed to come over for the Oscars, but obviously, you still weren't sure. So you stayed, and then we did the recording after that. Okay, that's what happened.
That's right. There you go. Good memory. So yeah, that was episode 95. So we skipped. So we didn't have a Best Picture Showdown for 10 episodes, but we came back very strong. Episode 100, Silence of the Lambs. Caleb came on that one. That was so much fun. Also, Prince of Tides, Beauty and the Beast, JFK. Good group.
Oh yeah, that was I was not prepared for how much I enjoyed the Prince of Tides. I did not expect.
What's the fifth movie? 1991.
Bugsy.
Yeah, movie's fine. Yeah, it's fine.
It's the weakest link, but it's still a decent film. And I love that Caleb put in the work, and has never done it again because he's like, how the fuck do you guys do that?
Every month. Yeah. I love that he did that. And I love that he also liked Prince of Tides. We all did. We all liked it. We were all kind of like, yeah, I cried. And I liked it so much that I ranked it third. You know, of course, fucking Silence of the Lambs and JFK. You can't get much better than that. Two just fantastic movies. And Lambs, one of the coolest Best Picture winners ever. So that was special. We had planned that for a long time too. We were like, we're saving Lambs. We're gonna wait for a big episode, and 100 was it. The week after that, or sorry, the month after that, episode 105, The Godfather, 1972. One of the coolest episodes we've ever done. Right after the Lambs, we were like, holy shit, we were churning these bad boys out. We did so much cool shit. The week before, we did fucking Magnolia, my favorite movie of all time, episode 104. And we kind of did it as the Godfather episode fell on our 2-year anniversary of doing the show. It's like, I mean, come on, you know, come on. That was really neat. We both watched Cabaret for the first time, and we were like, God damn, that was good. 1972. We think.
Oh, I remember all of them. It was Deliverance,
Deliverance,
Sounder, and The Immigrants. I'm so proud of us for how devoted we were to getting that movie.
Yeah, I had to order it like on Criterion. It was like $25. I like had to order it and got it delivered the next day or whatever. And it's like a 6-hour movie. and we both were like, yeah, that was fine. Sounder's fine. I like Deliverance. You didn't like it as much. I think your expectations because of, you know, the way people talk about that movie.
I was fully like, I went into that thing expecting a straight up, like, you know, rapist horror movie, but it's really a camping movie that has like one part of nightmare. And I was prepared for a different movie, and that's entirely on me. I know the next time I watch it, now that I know what it is, I think I'm going to like it a lot more.
Jon Voight, man. Fuck yeah. Yeah, he's great in that movie. But yeah, Godfather and Cabaret are like, it's one of the, hey, both of us have like double-digit nominations. We're going toe-to-toe all night. It's one of those ceremonies. It's really cool. It's very similar to what happened to Godfather Part 2 against Chinatown. They both had double-digit nominations and went at it. Godfather, of course, came on top because Chinatown only won one. Motherfuckers. those bastards. After that, we knocked out Platoon, 1986, episode 110. We got to end the running joke of, when is Connor going to see Platoon? And you know what? We came out of that episode with Platoon, you having seen it for the first time. Of course, I already loved it. It kind of solidified my love for it. But we both got to see Children of a Lesser God, and we were rocked by that movie. It's really cool.
Yeah, that was a special one. I love how long that kept going with multiple people. Like Caleb got in on that. Your brothers got in on that. It was just like, when the hell is he going to watch Platoon? Even my family started to, like, they were listening to it and they're like, you haven't seen Platoon? And I'm like, don't you fucking start.
Yeah, back off.
But yeah, it was great. And I wasn't expecting Children of a Lesser God to be as awesome as it was. That was a very special movie.
Yeah. And then there was also The Mission.
Hannah and her sisters.
Yeah, fine. It's fine. And fuck. I want to remember. We're doing good. We're doing good on remembering these. I want to remember it. I feel like I thought it was okay. I feel like I kind of liked the back three movies. Shit.
I'm finding it. Don't worry, I'm finding it. I want to say, was it A Room with a View?
Oh, it was. You're right.
There you go.
Okay. Nah.
I got that before I looked it up. Still counts.
Yeah, that's the one with Elena Bonham Carter and Daniel Day-Lewis. Yeah. Nah, no. I'm good. It's fun watching Daniel Day-Lewis play an absolute prick, but other than that, I'm good.
Again.
Yeah, it's a different kind of prick.
Whenever he does one of those, period films where he's in like Victorian England, he's always such an absolute bastard.
Yeah, he's kind of a bastard like all the time, except for
the
Lincoln.
I was gonna say, except for Lincoln, he's pretty much a prick his whole career.
Yeah, My Beautiful Laundrette, 1985. He's not really a total douchebag there.
Last of the Mohicans, that gets a pass.
Yeah. In the Name of the Father, not as bad. And what's the one I'm forgetting? I'm forgetting one from 1997 where he plays a boxer. Is it called The Boxer?
I think it is called The Boxer.
He's not as much of a total prick in that one either. But yeah, he's damn good at playing pricks. We'll be talking about him later. That's for sure. With Gangs of New York.
We will.
Yeah, anytime we get to talk about DDL, we're gonna take it. After that, probably the most shocking Best Picture showdown for me, 1945, Lost Weekend. Couldn't believe how good that movie was. Couldn't believe it. And then we also watched Mildred Pierce. Also couldn't believe how good that movie was. That was those two movies. I don't know. Like I put them up against like anything. They're that kind of timeless. 1945. Like they're that good. We were talking about like Razor's Edge, Yearling, and like keep those back there. Like, but there are these old movies, these old gems that if people who say they don't like old movies, quote unquote, if you showed them The Lost Weekend, they'd be like, oh, maybe I was wrong. It's that kind of a game changer type movie. God, I loved that one. I love movies that have alcoholics like at the center of it. I like using that. And another Daniel Day-Lewis thing that he does really well. I like watching people kind of spiral out of control. I think it's like really good for movies. It's like a good way to tell stories. And The Lost Weekend does it maybe better than I've ever seen. That movie rocked. I still think about it.
Yeah, that was special. That was one that my grandparents were like, "Oh, you're going after The Lost Weekend? That's ambitious." And I'm like, And then I watched it. And I'm like, oh, that's why. Yeah, this is a taboo film in 1945. This is like, how do you tell that story in the midst of the Hays Code carefully? And
correct.
Yeah, going up against Mildred Pierce, which was such a cool murder mystery led by Joan Crawford at her best.
Oh,
and
dude.
I immediately bought the Criterion Blu-ray because I'm like, I want this one. Like, that was good.
I love that. I love when that happens. You're like, I need this.
That year with that showdown,
Spellbound.
We had Spellbound, but we also hit a further rock bottom with nominations with Anchors Away.
Oh, I don't even want to talk about it. Oh my God, that movie. That movie made a fat one. Yeah,
that made Fanny look like the greatest film of all time. Oh my God.
Oh God, Anchors Away. It made me angry. It made. What's the other one? What's the fifth one?
Oh fuck. The Bells of St. Mary's.
Yeah. I'm okay with that one.
I like that one. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah. That one's not. The Lost Weekend and Mildred Pierce are so far ahead of those. Like, there's no competition. It's like everybody fuck off. It's our race. But God, Anchors Away is just a shit show. It's just like, who made this? Why did they make it? What's the point? What a horrible movie.
It made me despise Gene Kelly as a human being. Like, anytime I see his face now, I'm just like, you fucker, you made me watch Anchors Away.
One of the stars of his time. Yeah, just like, fuck you. Fuck you. Yeah. So after that, we went around and we did something that I guess I chose something that I knew was going to be good for both of us. 2000, Gladiator. Now, of course, we both had seen Gladiator plenty of times before, but that also is Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Aaron Brockovich, Traffic, and shit. Here I am. Fucking losing. I think I like this one too. It's the two Soderbergh films. Gladiator, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. What is the fucking fifth movie? 2000. Billy Elliot? No. That one was up for Best Director, I think. Chocolat. Yeah, fuck that movie. Okay. All right, so yeah. Those other four, though, good quality Best Picture group. You hadn't seen Brockovich or Traffic yet, and I was like, dude, you're going to have some fun. Yeah.
And I did. Those were both fantastic watches and phenomenal movies. That was a good year. Good year to start that decade.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like the changing of the guard, you have a lot of mistakes that happen in those years, like 1990, like massive mistakes were making at that ceremony. 2010, I personally believe a lot of like massive mistakes were made. 2020, I guess we'll kind of see as time goes on with Nomadland, but I feel like Gladiator, like they nailed it. It's like they nailed it as far as picking a really successful big movie that a lot of people liked, but also just a quality, awesome film. With a movie star's performance at the center of it. So yeah, that was so much fun. And then just last month we did Parasite, 2019 92nd Academy Awards. We both put Parasite at number one. We were like, yeah, this movie is it's just hard to even talk about it. It's just so good. It's that good. You're like, I have no critiques. It's a masterpiece.
If I ever made anything that good, I'd retire because I would know that I'd peaked. But with Bong Joon-ho, I honestly think he could probably do something just as good. He's got so many more surprises.
I think he's like at the halfway point of his brilliant career. So yeah, I think he's going to have loads more to do and kind of show us as a filmmaker. So yeah, that was great. And here we are, 2002, 75th Academy Awards, episode 130, Chicago. Pretty awesome. Yeah, obviously I've had a fucking blast doing these with you. It's something that clearly sticks with our hearts and our minds because we can recall from 2 years ago, we can recall episodes we did and like the 5 movies that were up, like this hasn't just been, I mean, it is for fun, but it's also, we like take it seriously. We watch a lot of fucking movies for this. This week, for myself, I killed myself to make sure I watched all of these movies from 2002. I started late. That was my fault. And there were a couple nights where I was like, should I play video games or should I start 2002? And I would, dick around, play video games, or I've been rewatching Twin Peaks, so like I'd do that and I'd be like, I need to watch these 2002 movies. So like 4 nights ago, I was like, fuck, like I got movies to watch. So I started with Gangs of New York because that's the one that I was like, all right, that'll get me going. That'll get me flowing. Like, let's go. I like that movie. It's fun. Then I watched The Hours and I was like, Christ almighty. That was tough. Ed Harris, what are you doing to me?
As soon as he opened the window, I audibly went, oh no.
Willow was watching it with me. I said, Willow, turn away.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, because when I watch those, like that slow of movies, she's not paying attention. She's like on her iPad or doing whatever. But even then, like I knew when the window opened and Meryl Streep was like, oh, I was like, Willow, don't look.
Yeah. You don't want her looking up at that moment and having like, instant child trauma right there.
Yeah. I just like Windows. Fuck Windows. Yeah. And then then I remember talking to you and I was like, dude, I might just have to watch Chicago and like call it quits. I fucking crammed in The Pianist. I fucking watched that shit. Another fucking tough ass movie. Last night after Thanksgiving, I got home from working and then being at fucking other places and being like, I need to go to bed. But I sat there and I watched The motherfucking Pianist because I was like, no, I won't feel right if I don't watch this movie. And then I watched Chicago this morning. I woke up at 9 a.m. to watch Chicago before I went to work today. The only one I skipped, and I have a good reason for skipping it, is The Two Towers. I've seen it 100 times. If I watch The Two Towers, that means I'm also watching Fellowship and I'm watching Return of the King. I can't do that to myself. That's 10 hours of my time. So I skipped Two Towers, but I watched the other 4 fuckers, and this is a good fucking group.
Damn, I admire your dedication. I didn't put nearly that much effort into this. I watched Chicago last Sunday because my family and I had just finished. What did we watch?
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
No, it was See How They Run. We finished that, and we were all like, "Well, that sucked. We need a palate cleanser." So I was like, "Well, I got to watch Chicago for the show. Who wants to watch Chicago?" And my grandma fucking loves Chicago, so she was like, "Oh, let's watch Chicago." So I put it on, and I was like, "All right, got that done for the week." And
that's nice. That's nice.
Yeah, And then I decided, I'm with you with Two Towers. If I'm gonna watch one, I'm gonna watch all of them. It's a like 12-hour movie. It's not three smaller movies. It's one giant ass film, and I'm gonna watch the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's it's like, I don't know. It's so hard. It's so hard to get around it.
The Pianist is still fresh. I knew I got what I needed out of that. I don't watch a lot of Holocaust movies more than once for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
And then Gangs of New York, I know by heart. That's one of my favorite movies. So I'm like, I don't need to do that again. I got two other shows to curate here. So I had to kind of make some small sacrifices, but the hours was new to me. So I made time for that one. And I had to follow that with some cartoons because Jesus Christ, is that a downer?
Yeah. Yeah. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about these movies. Let's rank these motherfuckers. We're gonna go 5-1 as we typically do. I'll let you start with your 5, and we'll just go back and forth.
All right. 1. So before we get started, I do want to just preface. To me, there are no weak links here. This is a great group of 5 great movies, and it is tough for me to pick favorites or say like who's the worst of the best.
Okay.
So there are no mistakes, just happy little accidents.
Yeah.
With that, number 5 for me is The Pianist.
Okay.
I don't have a problem with the movie. I think it's great. I do have a problem with the Academy giving Roman Polanski Best Director and just saying like, oh, he's a fugitive, so he's not going to be here tonight. But yeah, that's pretty fucked up. Other than that, this is a wildly depressing film about one man's struggle to preserve anything of his life as the Holocaust rages around him. And it's a downer. It's brilliantly acted by Adrian Brody. And it's a movie I didn't want to go back to because I know it's rough. It's an emotional wreck of a film. But there's a couple of those here. This one, I knew what to expect. I knew what it was. I liked it, but I didn't like it as much as I liked the rest of these.
Okay, I hear that. Yeah, it's the definition of kind of like a brutal movie. And it's so brutal because you can like feel the realism in it. You can feel like the personal stuff with Polanski, with his mom being someone who, members of his family had to deal with this stuff, and I really like this movie. I'm in the camp that like it shouldn't have been probably touched by the Academy. This is 2002. He had been a fugitive for a long time. He's not allowed in the United States. So at that ceremony, Harrison Ford, who was in Frantic in the 80s with directed by Polanski, he's the one who essentially accepted the award on his behalf. And everybody's like clapping, like, yeah, he finally got his best director. And it's like, no, we shouldn't be awarding like criminals, You're allowed to like the movie. You're allowed to have an opinion on. But when it comes to like giving something a trophy in recognition, I don't know. I think you got to draw the line somewhere.
Well, I think if you're, if you rape a teenager and flee,
that's got to be the line.
I think the line is quite away from that. Like that's way past the line, but
yeah. the line as far as who we know who's won an Oscar, this is the worst person. That's the bar.
Yeah, rapist is. Have any murderers won Oscars?
I don't know.
Well, that we know of.
Yeah. That's a good point. No, I know. I mean, he is like the worst person.
Yeah, there's quite a few rapists have won Oscars, which is pretty fucked up. But I can't think of any murderers. Will Smith was close.
Will Smith just slapped the shit out of me. Oh, fuck me. Yeah. So that's your number 5. All right, The Pianist. Okay. I'll say to preface my list, I have 110, 3 8s, and 1 7. My 7 is Chicago.
Okay.
I think Chicago's fine. I think it's entertaining. It's fun. I don't think it's like a Best Picture winner by any stretch of the imagination. I don't think it's worth 13 nominations. I've seen better musicals and I've seen better crime movies. I think Richard Gere's like kind of bad in it. um, I've never thought he's that good of an actor, and I don't know. I just kind of laugh at him. He's just like a meme to me. Uh, Catherine Zeta-Jones is great. Renee Zellweger is great. John C. Reilly is fucking great, and he's in three of these fucking movies we're going to talk about today. He plays a role in The Hours and um, Gangs of New York. Sorry. So yeah, that guy rules. So like, I enjoy Chicago. I'm just like, I don't know. There's other movies from 2002 that I would put in its place. It's to me not a weak link, but it's the weakest of this group. I think all the other ones are what two is like shatter me, and one of them is to me, just perfect, obviously because it's a 10, and the other one is just fun as shit. So like this one's just like, it just doesn't have a play in my mind with the other five movies, but it's not a bad. And like your grandparents love it. My mom and dad love Chicago and showed it to me when I was younger. And I remember watching that Oscars. And my parents, like my dad, was like rooting for Chicago. They love musicals. They love the song and dance thing. They love all that stuff. It's not really my cup of tea. I do have some personal movies that I love. Like I love all that jazz. I think it's fucking awesome. I think Chicago lacks like an umph to it. I think it's a if you're not in the mood, I think like Chicago can like almost put you to sleep. Like, I think it's that kind of a mood. I that's just kind of where I'm at with it. If you like these kind of movies, I would get why you love it.
Yeah, musicals are an acquired taste. That's for damn sure. I mean, most of the ones I've seen, I've found obnoxious and not wanted to go back to them.
Yeah, Chicago's not obnoxious.
No, Chicago's a decent flick.
That's for sure.
Yeah, but I'm with you. Chicago's my number 4.
Okay.
Yeah, it is a good movie, but it's not a Best Picture winner. I think this is the earliest Best Picture winner I saw, apart from maybe Return of the King. Because I remember, like, I've seen this movie a lot throughout my life, and I think this stuck with me as I want to say like 11-year-old maybe, because I think this was the first time I ever saw fishnet stockings, and I'm like, okay, I like that.
Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Yeah, I'm like, I am paying attention to this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love that you have like a particular beef with Richard Gere, because I feel like the Academy did too, because he's the only member of the principal cast who was not nominated.
Yeah. I'm with the Academy on that one. Yeah. That's hilarious. Yeah. Yeah, I just think I do think he's like funny at times, but then other times I'm like, dude, this should be somebody else.
Yeah, I'm like, you're Chicago 1920s sleazy, like Saul Goodman-esque lawyer. You could have gone better than Richard Gere.
Yeah, and and went to like Road to Perdition should replace this movie without a doubt for me. We did that movie not that long ago, and that movie fucking rules. Like Punch Drunk Love is better to me. There's just movies from 2002 that I'm like, come on.
Yeah, for me, Road to Perdition should win this. Like that for me is the best movie of 2002.
Oh wow, okay. Oh, yeah. All right, I like that.
Yeah,
coming in hot,
but it's not nominated, and that's some horseshit. Because what the fuck?
What the fuck? Does anybody give a fuck about the rules around here?
I watched that yesterday.
Oh wow. Yeah, really. I haven't. It's been too long for me, my friend.
Me and my cousin Ryan watched Lebowski because we were quoting it randomly, and I'm like, "Fuck it, you want to go watch it?" And he's like, "Yeah." So we had a great time.
Yeah, I haven't seen that. One of the things about Oscar Sunday is I'm so focused on watching stuff for the show that I forget to watch my favorite stuff sometimes.
Yeah, I somehow I make it work.
Yes, you do, my friend. So your number 4 is Chicago.
Yes.
Oh man, this is the one I've been thinking. 1 and 2 have been locked in all day for me. 3 and 4, these are tough. But I don't know. My gut's telling me just go ahead and put The Pianist number 4. That's probably where I stand. I respect this movie a lot, and Adrian Brody at the time might still be. I gotta think. He was 27. He was the youngest Best Actor winner of all time. I don't think anybody's passed him since then. Like anybody younger has won.
I feel like the only possible contender is like Rami Malek, possibly, but I don't think he's that. He's got to be in his 30s, right?
Yeah, that's a good one. I don't know. That was just like a bit of trivia I knew since I was like a kid. I watched The Pianist way too young. That's for sure. I remember watching it because I loved, Darjeeling and Wes Anderson movies, and so like I watched The Pianist at too young of an age, thinking like, oh, this is gonna be like an Adrian Brody showcase, and it is, but it's fucking tough. It's a tough fucking movie to like hang out with for 2.5 hours. And then I left it on the shelf there for a while, and then I watched it for a Roman Polanski podcast that we did on FILMGAZM, long time ago now, like 3+ years ago. And I rewatched it for that, and I was like, God damn, this is just a stellar movie. And then I rewatched it for this, so I've seen it 3 times now, and each time it's impacted me mightily. So it's hard to put it 4, but the other 3 movies just have a little more to say, I guess, in my mind, and that's tough. But shit, Adrian Brody, that who would have thought? You watch that guy; he's put together a really strange filmography and makes really strange choices, and I love the guy. But if you saw A Pianist, you'd be like, oh, this is gonna be like the next guy. Like this is he's the next in line to take the mantle and become that dude. And he hasn't really, he hasn't really been that lead guy. He hasn't been up for a bunch of Oscars. He's not that guy. So I find it interesting that whatever Polanski did, like it worked. Like their partnership worked. He challenged him the most, and you come out with a gold statue. So not just Brody, but fucking Polanski too. So crazy. I wonder how that statue, like, did they get shipped to him because he's not allowed to come over here? Like, did Harrison Ford like, hey, I'll come visit you in fucking Paris and we'll fucking hang out, have drinks. I hate how the people that worked for him were like, hey, he's a good guy, all right? He's a good guy. I can't stand that. I can't stand the people that like have an affinity for him and like stand up for him. It's like, no, he fucked up, all right? He fucked up. And if he came here, he'd get fucking thrown in prison. We shouldn't be giving him fucking trophies like he's 15 years old. Like, come on.
Yeah, for me, there is no, like he's waited long enough, or he made a mistake. Like this wasn't like
No.
he didn't rob like a gas station or anything. He raped a 13-year-old girl. That's an unforgivable crime, and he should go fuck himself. So
yeah, I don't give a shit if you robbed a gas station. In fact, I think that's badass. I think that's cool.
I can condone murder in some cases. I could be like, well, maybe the guy had it coming. There is no way to excuse rape. That's to me the most despicable crime you can commit.
Yeah, like assaulting or anything of that nature to a woman, man to woman, is like, no, it's just, no.
You show your true character, you are a monster. I have no respect for you at all if you have done anything like that.
Yeah, straight up, man. So yeah, that's my number 4. Chicago's your number 4. What's your number 3?
My number 3 is The Hours.
Okay. The Hours, number 3 for Connor. All right.
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
I went into this thing. I looked at Stephen Daldry's filmography, and I was like, okay, I've from that list, I've only seen Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close. And I liked that. I'm one of the few people who liked that. So I was from that, I'm like, all right, what is this? Is this a biopic of Virginia Woolf? Like, what is this? So then I watched it, and I'm like, well, this is interesting. Juggling 3 different time periods cohesively is impressive, with each story having like a level emotional depth that matches each of the other stories. I was not expecting that. This is one of the most depressing movies I've ever watched. Uh, you know, I've never seen a movie where like the message is basically like ignore hope. It's not for you. It's like, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
Um, but I was very impressed. It's a very good movie. It's a brilliant story. It handles themes you do not see in time periods like this. And I just felt bad for everybody. Julianne Moore being, gay and afraid to, can't talk about it, and married to a man who has no fucking clue she's unhappy. I mean, goddamn, and just how similar their stories were. This Mrs. Dalloway thread. I was when I'm yelling at the screen like don't jump, I know I'm invested. I'm like, this movie did something to me. And that's respect. So I was, yeah, I expected this to be another one of those like period films that's boring that I'm going to write off, but it's anything but. And this is a fantastic movie.
Yeah. God, I agree. I saw this. My mom loves this movie, and because she's like the biggest Julianne Moore fan that I know, and she of course loves Meryl Streep and loves Nicole Kidman. They're like those are just fucking like they're G's. They're just fucking sick. Like all three of them are so good, and they've like earned their stripes. They put in consistent great work, and get nominations because of it. Like they're like the real deal. All three of them. All the supporting performances are good. So I saw this, and I didn't really care for it because I didn't really pay attention. Like it was just like too slow for me when I was like 16.
Yeah.
But man, when I watched it the other night, I was like, holy fuck! Like this is one of those movies. Like this is why we do it. This is why we do the work, because you like find this stuff. And God, I love it. I'll talk about it in a second because my number 3 is Gangs of New York.
Ooh, okay. I was not expecting that. Do tell.
Okay, I love Gangs of New York. Love it. I think Leo and DDL going head to head is sick. DDL for me, it's my second favorite performance outside of Daniel Plainview. Bill the Butcher. He's just lights out. It's cool to see him work with Scorsese for a second time.
Yeah,
yeah, just a second. Wish they did another movie together. I wish they did one like in the 2010s. That would have been sick. It's cool movie. My like qualms with it are really silly, honestly, but there's certain casting, and I think you know where I'm going with this. Like Cameron Diaz, that whole storyline is just so stupid. And when I rewatched it, I was like, okay, like I have to talk about these things. I have to, if I'm gonna rank movies like one after the other, you have to find like you're picking hairs, and you got to find those hairs. You got to figure out like what it is. And I was like, that like takes me out of the movie. Her character, that storyline with Leo, with Amsterdam is like, I just don't care. I just don't give a shit at all. I think they could cut a lot of that stuff and make the movie shorter and a lot more rewatchable, like a lot more accessible, because it is long. It's long as fuck, and I like it a lot. I'm like laughing at Daniel Day Lewis because he's just I'll teach you to speak English with this fucking knife. All of that like crazy committed acting is like so fun to me. And Leo's pretty good in it. He's not amazing, but he's pretty good. He's going toe to toe with maybe the greatest ever. So it's tough. And he was young. He was like 20. Let's see. I think he's 47 right now. So he's 27 years old. Like Jesus H. Talk about tough. Going with a guy who's in his prime. So when you're picking hairs, like that was the difference between Gangs of New York, and the reason I have The Hours number 2 is because The Hours was like, this is just good the whole time. I'm never once questioning a storyline, never questioning like a moment of dialogue. The whole movie was so good. The Hours rules. If you have not seen The Hours, please, I believe it's on Showtime right now.
Yes.
That's how I watched it. I'm gonna buy this movie. I want this movie. I want to show it to people. I've been waiting for the right time. I'm gonna see my mom actually on Sunday. I cannot wait to talk to her about this movie. Like, I can't wait to be like, Mom, you were right. The Hours is really good. It rocked me. Like, really, really stirred me up, made me cry like multiple times. Nicole Kidman, good fucking Lord. You don't recognize her. She's really going for it. Some of the scenes, in particular, the scene where she's about to leave to go to London, like at the train station, and her husband comes to like, stop her, and he's like, "This is a mental health issue." Da da da. And she's just, it's one of those like groundbreaking, like female empowerment, woman empowerment, like moments where you're just kind of like, fuck him, stand up to him, like you're like rooting for her, and like I felt that the same way you felt like you were yelling at Ed Harris, like, no, I was yelling multiple times in this movie, just kind of like, Jesus H, like, and that's like the best. That's the best thing. This movie's like borderline a 9 for me. Like it's close to being, you know what I mean? It's like an 8.5. Really, really fucking like that movie. So Gangs of New York is number 3 for me, and I know for you it's number 2.
Well, you'd think that.
Oh, fuck off. Oh, come on. Come on. No, don't do this to me. Road to Perdition and Gangs of New York ahead of.
I'm gonna explain myself. I promise.
Oh man, what is happening? I thought this was just shoo-in. Oh, fuck it. We'll do it live.
Number 2, Two Towers.
God damn it. I'm taking the earbuds out. Oh.
Okay.
Oh, God.
All right. This has nothing to do with the Lord of the Rings and everything to do with Gangs of New York. Okay?
I'm taking it personally. Two Towers. Viggo Mortensen, you're with me, right? Come on. Let's find him. Let's find him. Yeah.
I knew this was gonna be. Yeah, this was gonna hurt. I knew this was gonna hurt.
I'm just shocked. I'm not hurt. I'm just like, what? I love Lord of the Rings, but you love Lord of the Rings. So you must really love Gangs of New York.
Okay, so Lord of the Rings gets its win with Return of the King. It sweeps the Academy. It wins everything. That's great. I don't think it would be great if it was a hat trick, but that's never going to happen. So let's spread the wealth a little bit. Gangs of New York deserves this win. This movie is a brilliant historical hodgepodge of mania led by Daniel Day-Lewis that shines a spotlight on a piece of history we never fucking talk about, which, the 5 points. And fair. Scorsese does such a great job building this world. Daniel Day-Lewis comes out of retirement to play this absolute fucking maniac in Bill the Butcher. He put a fake eye on his eye so he could tap it with a real knife, because that's just how fucking committed this man is.
Yeah, and so sick.
He gives maybe the there's Daniel Plainview. Yeah. All right. There's that.
It's those two.
It's those two. He plays one of the greatest characters he's ever played and owns that entire movie. He's so good, I can excuse Cameron Diaz. I'm like, look, you should just be happy to be here. Just, take some notes.
But, yeah, no kidding. Good God. You think she took the notes? I don't think she did.
I've never really liked Cameron Diaz's work, honestly. Like, she's in good movies, but they're never really good because of her. Sorry.
Yeah. No, don't. Yeah, you're good. I feel the exact same way.
If she somehow stumbles onto this, I don't dislike you as a person. I promise.
Yeah, I'm sure you're great. Just
you didn't take the notes.
Yeah, you didn't take notes after Gangs, and it showed the rest of your career.
Oh, but what cements it are the final seconds where you've got Bill and Amsterdam's graves, and U2's The Hands That Built America is playing as New York builds around these graves to the point where they become unrecognizable stones in a world that has long forgotten them. That's a hell of an ending to this story, and cemented it as one of Scorsese's greatest movies and one of the greatest movies to be nominated for Best Picture. And I wish it had taken the win. And I love Two Towers, but honestly, I like Return of the King and Fellowship more.
Fellowship is my favorite. And then the other two, they're all 10s. I love them all.
They're all 10s for me too. They are. Yeah.
This is tough. I thought I even shout out to my coworker Robert, because Robert was watching me write this list down, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Well, I'm recording a podcast tonight on Chicago." And he's like, "Oh, what's that?" And I was like, "Well, it's a movie from 2002." And he's like, "Oh yeah," he's like, "the musical." And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." And he's like, "Well, like what else are y'all talking about?" And I was like, "Well, when a movie wins Best Picture, we do these things called Best Picture Showdowns." And he's like, "Oh, that's cool." He's like, "How does it work?" I explain it to him, and he's like, "Well, what are the other movies?" And I'm like, "The Hours." And he's like, "I don't know what that is." I was like, "The Pianist," and he's like, "Oh, that's that Holocaust one." And I was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." I was like, Gangs of New York, and he's like, "Oh, I haven't seen that yet, but I've heard it's great." He's like, "That's that Leo and Daniel Day." I'm like, "Yeah, yeah." And he's like, "Well, what else?" And I was like, "Well, Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers." And he goes, "Oh, that takes it." And I was like, "Oh yeah." I was like, "Trust me, my buddy Connor is like the biggest Lord of the Rings fan that I know." I was like, "Yeah, we're counting down to one. I mean, we like the other four don't matter. they're fucking just there. They're happy to be there." I was wrong, and I'm glad I love this. This is an organic moment. An organic. So yeah. So Gangs of New York is my 3. Hours is my 2. Lord of the Rings is my 1. For you, The Hours is 3. Lord of the Rings 2. Gangs of New York 1. How about this for drama?
Never call the game till the clock runs out. You should know that.
Yeah. It ain't over till the fat lady sings. Jesus H. Oh man, this is
I
great.
have a lot of respect for Gangs in New York. That movie, every time I watch it, I see something else. I learn something. I take something away from it. It's powerful. And I've seen Two Towers, enough to love it. But Gangs in New York is constantly evolving. And I like that a lot. So
like Two Towers is almost like that's what it is. It's hit its
yeah.
potential.
I love it. It's amazing. Okay. Like that Back to the Future is the same way for me. It's my favorite movie ever. I love it. Okay. But I like movies that continuously are challenging me and making me realize more about them. And Gangs does that. But again, if we're talking the whole of 2002, they can all go suck Road to Perdition's dick.
Wow. Okay. Man. Yeah, Road to Perdition, if I threw it in here, I would take Chicago out, and Road to Perdition would probably be second for me, behind Two Towers. I think Two Towers is just it's got the coolest like run. Helm's Deep is like the most impressive, like holy shnikes. Like that was something else. Like that sequence is it's my favorite battle sequence probably ever.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue that. It's amazing. It's beautiful. It's fantastic. For me, I get a little drowsy in the Faramir Osgiliath bit. I think Faramir's painted as too much of a prick at first, and I kind of lose a little. I'm not going to say lose interest, but I start thinking about other things. I don't look at my phone, but I start thinking like, all right, let's think about this, because I want to go back to to Helm's Deep. So there is that little. There's not a lot of lulls in Lord of the Rings, but there's that little bit for me where I'm like, okay, once like from the Oliphants to, Faramir letting them go, I'm just like, all right.
Interesting. Look for your friends, but do not trust to hope. It has forsaken these lands. Oh shit.
Appropriate.
Yeah. Oh man, I cannot wait to tell Adam and Jeremy about this. This is going to be good. This is going to become the new running joke, my friend.
I feel like I'm going to get some angry feedback from this one. I have a feeling.
Yeah, this is great. All right. Well, I love it. That was a dramatic way to finish off the run. I was so sure. I was like, oh, okay. So you're, Hours, Gangs of New York, fucking, Hours 3, Gangs of New York 2, Tower. Yeah, I was like, oh, okay. I had almost written it in already because I always write them down. Fuck me running. That's impressive. I love it. I love it so much. So Gangs of New York, we did that on FILMGAZM a long time ago.
Yeah.
Why did we do that?
That was a bonus for Shutter Island, I believe.
Oh, doing a little Scorsese, Leonardo DiCaprio action.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. I like Shutter Island. It's a decent flick. Okay, those were fun when we like did those connectors. It
Yeah,
was
they
fun.
were the most half-assed work we've ever done on any of these, and I regret that. But the idea in spirit was good.
Correct. Like the amount of work we were putting into these episodes compared to what we were doing for those like bonus, like filmgasm slash bonus episodes, were like, yeah, we're just doing this for fun, I think, and now we're pretty serious about
Yeah, all those episodes are going to be redone on one of our shows in a proper episode, and we've done that a few times. So yeah,
it. Oh
Gangs of New
yeah,
York needs to come over here, and we need to do that film properly.
yeah. The thing is, I think it's in line for Scorsese. Like it's in line. Like we still haven't done Goodfellas.
Yeah, it's got to take a number. Yeah,
Like
we
Taxi Driver happened. Goodfellas is probably next. Raging
surprised we
Bull.
haven't done. Yeah, I was going to say Raging Bull. We haven't done that yet.
I adore Raging Bull. Yeah, you got Gangs is out there. Departed. I mean, yeah. Wolf of Wall Street would be a very, very fun Oscar Sunday to give awards out to.
Yeah, my
Oh man,
since this is an audio podcast, I'll just explain. My cat has been trying to be part of this the whole time.
I love it. Well, it's probably wondering. It's probably like clawing at you, like, why the fuck did you choose Gangs of New York over Two Towers, Dad? You, you ruined a moment. No, that ended up being really funny. So shit. Well, we'll fucking roll with it. Just just know that just know that whenever you're like, oh, I love Lord of the Rings, I'm gonna be like, are you sure?
I feel like this is the first time I've ever legitimately hurt you.
You hurt Peter Jackson. That's who you hurt. And also by saying that Two Towers and Gangs of New York and the Irish can suck Road to Perdition's dick.
I'll stand by that one. I'll double down
You
on
hurt
that shit.
you hurt my guys, Scorsese, Daldry, and Peter Jackson. Those guys are hurt.
They can all kneel before Sam Mendes and his amazing Prohibition masterpiece. I'm not backing down off that.
You know what I'm thinking of right now is my favorite movie from 2002, Punch Drunk Love, when Philip Seymour Hoffman, like cue Philip Seymour Hoffman saying, "What did you just say? Did you just tell me to shut up? No, you shut up."
Shut.
Uh,
Oh,
you're in trouble now. Yeah. God, that is great. Or Adam Sandler, as Barry Egan, like, you don't know how strong I am. Love makes me strong. You have no idea what kind of strength I have.
well, you tell me that's that before I beat the hell from you.
Punch Drunk Love, not nominated for any Oscars. Good stuff.
That's a travesty. That would make such a great episode.
Yeah, that'd be a really unique filmgasm, wouldn't it?
Oh, it will be. It will be.
Yeah, well, I'll have to be there. Yeah, it's like a rom-com. I don't know. It's like sad but really funny, unintentionally. Philip Seymour Hoffman is batting 1,000%. Yeah, love that movie. Any other 2002 movies you'd like to throw into the ring?
I'm surprised Adaptation didn't get a Best Picture nomination.
Dude, yeah, that adaptation, Road to Perdition. I understand Punch Drunk Love. I get it. I'm not gonna like act like it's for everybody, but adaptation is like, holy shit, that's a good movie. It's like feels like an old school thriller the way it kind of unfolds, and I love that movie. And Nicolas Cage is out of this world. Really wish that would have been up. So would you take out Chicago and the Pianist for adaptation and Road to Perdition?
Yeah, I would.
Damn, that would be a good group. Oof.
Yes.
That would make it tough, because adaptation, that's a movie that I could see rivaling Two Towers in my mind. Like, hey, hold on a second. I love adaptation, so that's a good call. What else? What else came out in 2002? What other? Let me see. I mean, like personally, like one of my favorite animated movies ever is fucking Lilo and Stitch. Oh, the first Spider-Man is great.
Yeah, that got some
City of
love. That got some technical love.
City of God came out that year. That movie fucking rocks. Catch Me If You Can is a fun movie.
I've heard Frida is really good. I haven't watched that.
That's a good call. That's a good shout. Fucking Chamber of Secrets. Heyo, Harry Potter. So Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, Spider-Man, like those all came out in 2002. Jesus.
Visual effects is Lord of the Rings versus Spider-Man versus Star Wars.
Oh, Star Wars. That would be Clone.
Attack of the Clones.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah. I argue that's the worst Star Wars movie, but that's not for today.
Yeah, I'm
yeah. You just hate all of them. See, there's not going to be much of a debate.
I like Force Awakens. I like first three are cool. Like episode 4, 5, 6 are cool. Phantom Menace is like funny, if that counts. Revenge of the Sith is the only one like of those that I saw in theaters in 2005, and I thought it was fine. None of them are like great to me. That's the thing. That's my thing. Is like even Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, like all like none of them are like, oh my god, like I just can't stop talking about this. They're mostly just like popcorn to me, and I just move on. But the fans of Star Wars are like, like stroke, all like they'll talk about that shit all day.
I love that in the same episode, I've alienated the Tolkien fans and you have shit on the Star Wars fans. Like, this is great.
I think I've done this before. Have I?
You have, but I feel like in this episode in particular, we're just going after fantasy franchises.
Fucking attack. Oh, the Bourne Identity. I love Bourne Identity. That came out in 2002.
I really like
Blade 2. Blade 2. Oh, Catch Me If You Can. Yeah.
Blade 2 is fun, though. I like that. Not really for the Oscars, but yeah, that's not happening.
Black Hawk Down. No, that was 2001. Yeah, I guess we've kind of covered the ones How about didn't fucking the shitty, well, I kind of like it because it's just fun. Didn't one of the Bond movies come out that year? With Halle Berry?
Yep, Die Another Day.
Hell yeah, Die Another Day.
The Bond film that killed the franchise for quite a while because everyone was like, Invisible Car, fuck you.
Halle Berry, though, one of the best of the best there. Let's see. I'm just trying to make sure I'm not forgetting something I want to go to bat for. Oh, here we go. Came out in 2001, but it's a Mexican movie. Alfonso Cuarón's Y Tu Mama Tambien. That was up for screenplay and lost to Talk to Her, Mr. Pedro, to fucking Spanish speaking movies. Real cool that they were both up for original screenplay. So if Y Tu Mama Tambien could compete for screenplay, it can also compete for Best Picture. That would be my number one. That beats them all. That movie's fucking sublime. The movie I haven't seen that I'm like, shame on me, can't believe I haven't seen this, is Todd Haynes' Far From Heaven from 2002. That's one of the ones where I'm like, God damn it, what's wrong with me? But that's gonna happen. It's gonna happen when you watch a lot of shit.
Yeah, you're not wrong. So that means Julianne Moore got 2 nominations this ceremony. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, she's something else. At this time in her career, she was just I still love her, but she was doing really cool stuff at that time.
She was. I liked About Schmidt.
Yeah, that's a fun one. I own that one randomly. Yeah.
It's a weird movie. It's very much like Jack Nicholson. It's almost like his retirement movie in a way, but then he did The Departed, so but it's not bad.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about more of these 2002 movies later. We'll breeze through the fucking categories and just kind of make fun of stuff, but also praise stuff. That's just what we do with the ceremonies now. Just kind of like just go through it. It's not gonna get too intense. We'll have some fun. So we'll do some awards here for Chicago. Obviously, this is not our favorite of the group, but it's a winner. We got to do awards for it. The episode was picked because of it. I wish we could be doing awards for Gangs of New York or The Hours or Two Towers or fucking Adaptation. But here we are. I can't wait to hear what you like enjoy about this movie because you give it, what, an 8? An 8 out?
Yeah, it's an 8.
So for you, you have the Pianist 8, Chicago 8,
Yep.
The Hours 8,
Yep.
Two Towers and
Uh,
Gangs 10.
Two Towers is a 10. Gangs is still a 9.
Stop. Oh my God.
It's there's a lot of complex facets that go into this.
Clearly. I just keep assuming things. I'm like putting words in your mouth and then I just get fucked.
Two Towers is part of a collective 10.
Okay, so all three.
Yes.
All three Lord of the Rings are 10s for you. Okay.
Yes, all three. Gangs is a 9 as it stands. It was an 8. It's been a 9. I'm sure 1 or 2 more viewings. It will be bumped up.
Road to Perdition?
10, easy 10.
Okay, that's a 9 for me. So yeah, I understand that. Okay. All right. No, I understand because I think I started this whole trend when we did 1971. And I was like, look, Clockwork Orange is a 10 for me, but like, I mean.
That's right. Precedent. That's precedent.
Yeah. My explanation was that, like, look, this is not for everybody. It's for like freaks. It's honestly just not right. Like the movie's not right. It's like, it's so far from like good and like healthy and like, and like good for the soul. Whereas like Last Picture Show is like, damn, what a story for anybody to watch, like that you can kind of relate to. And French Connection is just wicked entertaining. So I had that number 3, even though I have it as a 10, you know. So I get it. I don't know. The way you talk about Gangs of New York is like, well, then again, it's sucking Sam Mendes' dick. So I don't know. Maybe it isn't a 10, you know?
Well, I don't know.
Great. This is great. This is one of the funniest things I've ever gone through on this show. All right, let's talk about Chicago, even though we clearly don't want to. We have the Quentin Tarantino Award for Best Quote of the Movie. Quentin Tarantino, who just announced that he's got a fucking mini series that he has lined up, and I'm like, really, dude? Really? Can't you just make movies?
Is it Bounty Law? We're finally getting that Bounty Law.
I'm gonna fucking watch it like an idiot. You know, I'm just like a cult member now. Like, oh, what's this guy doing? I'm just a robot like everybody else, so I have no room to talk. Anyways, we have an award named after the guy for the best quote of the movie. Then we have the Ennio Morricone Award for the best music moment. There's obviously a lot going on in Chicago with music. Then we have the Philip Seymour Hoffman Award for the best performance. And then we have the Roger Deakins Award for the best scene. So take it away with your Tarantino whenever you're ready.
This one comes from our esteemed attorney, Billy Flynn.
I chose a quote from him too because it made me laugh so hard.
I wonder if we picked the same quote.
I fucking hope so. That would be great.
All right. So this is when he's when he's meeting Amos for the first time.
Okay. Yes.
And he says, I don't mean to toot my own horn, but if Jesus Christ lived in Chicago today and he had come to me and he had $5,000, let's just say things would have turned out differently.
Yep. That's exactly what I chose.
It's the best line in the movie. It defines the character so well and gives you exactly what to expect.
And again, like I just don't think Richard Gere's the best. And so I just laughed my ass off because I was like, I don't believe this guy. This guy's a fucking sleazebag. Like he's the definition of like if this guy existed today, he'd be like a real estate agent in Beverly Hills who's like, come on. Like, you know, I just love how like the first thing we hear him say is like, you got $5,000? You know, like that's like the first thing we really hear him say. Him and John C. Reilly it's a fun scene. And like in his office, I chose the same thing. I laughed my ass off.
Yeah, it's such a brilliant line to just be, and so, you know, it just shows off how arrogant this guy is. Like, I could have saved Christ if he had $5,000.
Yeah.
Like, not out of the goodness of my heart, but, you know, if he were a client, I would try my hardest.
Odd. Prick. He does have a lawyer look to him, you know, like in Primal Fear, he's in that one. You like understand, like, yeah, this guy definitely would be a lawyer if he wasn't an actor. Richard Gere.
I've heard he's got a bit of an attitude. I've heard he's kind of difficult.
I'm not shocked.
Yeah. Oh, But you know what? I just love that he's the only guy here who got nothing.
Yeah, it's great. He's like front and center of the movie poster. Yeah, nothing. Fuck off. What's your favorite music moment?
Oh, this is the centerpiece of the show. Really, the music is cool. Written by Bob Fosse. I got to see this in on Broadway a few years ago.
Oh,
Went to
nice.
Chicago. Saw the hottest woman I've ever seen in person as one of the dancers, and it's a good show. Anyway,
I missed a lot of it.
I like fishnets. Okay. I went with Cell Block Tango. I think that's kind of like the centerpiece of the movie is, learning why they're all here, what they did, and kind of shining a light on, the pricks who had it coming, as the song says. And I just think it's very well choreographed. It's sexy. It's dangerous. It's cool. And it's done so well. So Cell Block Tango.
Yeah, it's a good call. I definitely thought about that one. The song I chose is the one right before that. It's "When You're Good to Mama" by Queen Latifah.
I almost picked that. I love that song.
Queen Latifah, there's like multiple moments in this movie where you're like, this was an Oscar winning, like Best Picture winning. Just like it just feels like, what's the word? Like almost too fun at times.
Yeah.
But it's also, it's a musical, and it's got like a good enough story behind it where you're like, okay, well, the Academy's a sucker for those, but there are moments where I'm like just smiling, and like Queen Latifah is so awesome, and watching her perform is great. So yeah, I love that song. I think the beginning, the opening, all that jazz, like with Catherine Zeta-Jones, you're just kind of like put into a trance. You're like, holy shit, this is cool. And all that jazz, of course, is not just a great song, but it's the title of, in my opinion, Bob Fosse's, maybe not best movie, because Cabaret is so goddamn good, but All That Jazz is such a sick movie from 1979. You can feel them shouting out that movie and Bob Fosse at the same time during Chicago. So that was cool.
Yeah, damn straight. It's there's not really a weak musical number. I love Billy Flynn's intro. All I care about is love. That always makes me laugh. The one, I don't remember what it's called, but the one where Renee Zellweger is like a ventriloquist dummy. I don't remember what that song's called, but I just love that bit.
Yeah, what is that one called? I'm kind of scrolling through the tracks. I can't remember. I know, trying to see which ones Renee Zellweger actually sang on. Funny Honey.
No, that's not bad.
We Both Reach for the Gun is cool.
That's what it is.
That's the one. Yeah,
that's the one.
That's the one with her and Richard Gere. Yeah.
And then Roxy's like big solo number is always that's done so well. All the musical numbers kick ass in this.
Yeah. That's like if it weren't for that, oh boy. And John C. Reilly, my man, he has some wonderful moments in this. The guy's just a freak of nature in 2002. He's in 3 of these Best Picture nominated movies.
He is insanely talented and does not get enough credit for it. Dude can act. Dude can do comedy. Dude can sing. He's everything. He's the whole package. But everyone just sees him as stepbrothers.
Yeah, exactly. He's like the only one who's like, he does, like a little bit of shake and bake, but he's also like, watch him in Magnolia,
Yeah.
Like the guy's unbelievable. To me, the best mesh of like his talent is in Boogie Nights. So goddamn funny, but he does things with his face when he's kind of like, like a background character. He does things that are like, oh my God, that guy's advanced. Like he's so present, so fine tuned as an actor, like right from the get go. I love that guy. He's become, it's hard for me to rank actors, but he's near the top for me as a personal fan,
Yeah, and he's the only good person in this entire movie who's just trying to do the right thing and do right by the woman he loves, who could give a shit about him.
Yeah, so sad.
Yeah, I love at the end when he just like finds out there's no baby and just without words just walks away and she doesn't even fucking notice.
Yeah. Sad.
Yeah.
Sad stuff. That brings us to what's the best performance of the movie? Who do you got?
Well, it's not Richard Gere.
No, not quite.
I do think, if they were going to give it to anybody, I am glad they gave it to Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Me too. That's who I chose as well.
Yeah, she's fantastic. Yeah, this is her finest hour as an actress.
Oh yeah.
She really pulls out all the stops. She sells the character of Velma Kelly so well. Just this, completely remorseless bitch who is only angry that she no longer has an act. And yeah, her, the way she just immediately dismisses Roxy. And then once she realizes she's no longer the hottest ticket in town, starts trying to cozy up to Roxy, who knows what she's doing. It's such a great, they have such great chemistry in this. Yeah, I'm on her side. I'm glad she took this one.
Me too. Yeah, she is something else in this movie, and like intoxicating as one can be in a musical. She's like perfect for this movie. What happened to her?
That's a very good question. She's Morticia Addams now.
Yeah, like her like post Chicago. It's like what's going on? Where are you?
She keeps popping up and stuff. Like, I think she was in Red 2. Might have been in one of the Oceans movies, but honestly, I don't remember.
Like here's what she's done since 2007.
Okay.
Death Defying Acts. Oh. The Rebound. Cool. Lay the Favorite. Rock of Ages.
Oh yeah.
Playing for Keeps. Broken City, a like TV movie with Russell Crowe. Side Effects. She's pretty good in that. Red 2. Dad's Army.
Oh.
Cocaine Godmother, an actual TV movie. Queen America, some TV show. And now she's Wednesday, Morticia Addams. Or she's in Wednesday as Morticia Addams. I don't know. I don't like if you watched her in this, you'd be like, oh Jesus, she's gonna take over.
Well, didn't she at one of the Oscar ceremonies? She did like it was like at the anniversary of Chicago, and she did all that jazz again.
Yeah.
And it was so out of place, and we were all kind of like, "Why is this happening right now?
What's going on?" I don't know. She's become kind of like a joke almost.
Do you consider her one of the actresses who just straight up wasted their post Oscars bump?
Yeah, I would. Now that I'm like really looking at it, because she was born in like 1970, so she's like in her early 30s for Chicago. It's like, dude, you just wasted your 30s to like 50. Like what?
Well, I wonder
what happened.
I mean, I wonder if some of that might have been Michael Douglas.
Yeah, there's got to be something we're missing. Like something must have happened at that time. Maybe we were too young to like remember like, the tabloids.
Maybe she, I know she had kids. Maybe she chose family life over Hollywood for a little bit. That could have been
and that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. Just God, like she's so good in this movie. There's even a joke like in the TV show Workaholics. It's like in the first season, they like make fun of her. They like sing her name in the episode. They're like Catherine Zeta-Jones. And they're just like joke. It's just like a joke. I'm like, what? Like that kind of sucks. She's like so good in this movie. And after that episode, it came out like in 2012. So it's like 10 years after Chicago. She just like quickly became like a punchline. Sad.
It's sad. On the other hand, I found out that Renee Zellweger, apart from Meryl Streep, is the most decorated actress of all time. If you count Oscars, Golden Globes, Emmys, BAFTAs, SAG Awards, Renee Zellweger. I never would have thought that. She is so revered by the Academy. I've never really got it. She's good, but she's not like the GOAT.
I really don't get it. I've never understood it. I've never been like enamored by her as a performer. I've yet to see a movie where I'm like, oh wow, there it is. I've never. Yeah, she's a fucking 2-time Oscar winner, and that's rare to to win two. And she's got 4 nominations. Like she was nominated for Bridget Jones' Diary. I'm like, well, really? Is that what we're doing? Is that from 2001? Are we sure? And my girl Naomi Watts isn't there? Well, all right, cool.
I think she's one of the first and possibly only American actresses to do an effective British accent. I guess
Maybe. She's nominated for Bridget Jones' Diary. No thanks. She's nominated in Chicago. She's pretty good in it. She does a good job. Cold Mountain. No thanks. And Judy. I'm not a big fan of that movie either. Like I'm not like, oh, I gotta go back to that performance. It was fine. But no, like I think they fucked up that year, 2019. Like her and Joaquin winning was like, no, that's not what I'm gonna remember from 2019.
yeah, yeah, no. I always wonder like these people the Academy latches onto and just
I don't get it.
creates a legacy for them.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are like guilty of, and it's like not. I don't know if it's the actor's fault or whatever, but like Meryl Streep, all right, like really like above 20 nominations, like that's just not realistic.
It's
It's
true, but
not.
then every time I watch them, I'm like, oh fuck, this is why she was nominated.
No, she's great. Don't get me wrong. I'm a big fan. But that many times is like okay. So every year, it's like she's one of the 5 best performers of the whole year. Like you're not watching enough movies. Is like
Even
my
she,
main is my
even she is like, really again? Like I don't think I was that good this time. Like even she's like, stop it.
yeah. Like I, for Sophie's Choice, sure, I get it. I went hard on that one. But Jesus, Iron Lady, really wasn't even trying. I was just there. I can do that shit in my sleep.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah. But Nicole Kidman's kind of like that. They're just kind of like, even if she doesn't do like great work, the Academy's like, yeah, it's Nicole Kidman though. So
Aren't they members of the Academy?
that's a
What if
great
that
question.
what if that has something? Is this like a voting for yourself for student body president kind of thing?
Oh, that's brilliant. And you know what's funny is Meryl Streep's not even nominated for The Hours.
She should have fucking won for that. I mean, she's incredible
Yeah.
in that.
All of them are. Yeah. Julianne Moore is nominated. Nicole Kidman won for Best Actress in the Lead Role. And Ed Harris was nominated. Of course, he's good.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. Fuck. All right, so we both agree Zeta-Jones kind of steals the show.
No.
Best scene. What do you got?
I really like the tap dance scene where we get to see
Okay.
Billy show off in court with the fake diary plant. And he uses Velma with the diary and he turns it around to make the other attorney look like he planted the evidence. He makes it all a big show, and it really shows the song and dance, what have you, of court, and how it's really just a popularity contest as long as you got the right people. Like there is no justice. It's all about who can schmooze the best. And I thought that was very well done, juxtaposed with the tap dancing. I really like that.
That's good. I like that. Yeah. Yeah, $5,000. I almost chose that for my Tarantino. Just that. Yeah, $5,000. Let me know when you do. Yeah, that's a good pick because it kind of uses the genre to explain something to you without saying it. And that's like kind of the point, is to tell a story through song, through dance, and so Chicago does that a few times. I chose the finale, like the Roxy Velma, just watching them two together is pretty special. And you're waiting for it the whole movie. You're like, oh, like when are they both gonna, because you see the movie poster, you see, they're both standing there in front of Richard Gere and they got the guns behind them, and you're like when are we gonna see them on the stage together? When you finally do it is a cool moment. It's quite special. Who I thought was like just completely miscast and was like really funny in this movie at the beginning is Dominic West.
Oh, yeah.
This is right before he plays McNulty in The Wire. This 2002 is the first season. So I'm thinking McNulty, this cop from Baltimore, and here he is in this movie, just playing a total fucking douchebag. He rather go he'd rather go take a piss after banging, rather than talk to Renee Zellweger. So I thought that scene was hilarious. It was very much a shout out to its time period. A lot of like 40s and 50s movies. I believe this is in the 20s, but a lot of like old 40s 50s movies are like the opening of the movie is like a kill scene, and then the rest of the movie is like the unfolding of that kill. So Dominic West, what the fuck?
Yeah, just the line like, "Oh, what are you talking about? I would have said anything. You get a piece of that." Like that's the most like the douchiest movie line in history.
Yeah.
And but also like she was cheating on her husband too. Like everyone's a bad
Oh,
person. And
yeah, they all suck. Yeah.
in the end, like her and Velma just they got away with murder, and they're just sleazy, selfish bitches. And now like they're an act. Yay!
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. A couple of murderesses. Yeah. Yeah. Good shit. Oh, this has been fun, man. Well, got our awards done. Now we can kind of look at the ceremony and talk about more movies and just kind of breeze through these. Let's see. We typically start from kind of the back with Chicago. It's got 13 fucking nominations. This is going to be. We can save the 6 wins for later if you want. We can do the other 7 fucking categories first. So this is the 75th Academy Awards, 2002 again. And I, there's a lot of movies like that get double digit nominations. Like West Side Story is a big one. Return of the King, La La Land, Joker. There's movies that do that or whatever. And Chicago is one of those that like 13. You're stealing so much space for other movies to be shouted out and for other good movies to be recognized. And that's the point, right? I mean, you want to get something out of it, and I just 13 is too much. Very rarely do I think a movie like, oh, that should get 10 to 15. That almost never happens in my mind.
No, I like a couple here, a couple there. I like to spread the wealth. I think just like this past ceremony, Dune, really that much? Like
Yeah, okay, that's a great example of a modern, yeah, Dune and Joker. Like, really? I like Dune, but come on, not that much.
yeah, it's unnecessary. And like you said, it takes potential away from other films that could sneak in there with a single nomination or a couple nominations and make a name for themselves.
Yeah, there you go. This is gonna be an interesting one to start with. Best original song. Never did I think I'd have to bring this up. The winner of this category is "Lose Yourself" from 8 Mile by fucking Eminem. He has an Oscar. You know, as much as I love rap, I am not really a fan of this movie. I'll be honest with you.
Ooh,
Not
okay.
really a big Eminem fan. This movie is just kind of like, yeah, like the most predictable thing of all time. I don't really get it. Catchy song. I liked it when I was like a teenager, but now I'm not like his palms are sweaty. Like no, I'm good. Like I'm just like driving to work. I don't need to fucking I'm okay. I don't like not everything is like a moment. Like not everything is like here we fucking go. I get it. It has like a time and place. Like people before like they go do something like physical. It's like, oh, let's listen to fucking "Lose Yourself," Eminem. I'm just tired. I'm just tired of it. That's just me. It beat "Burn It Blue" from Frida, "Father and Daughter" from the Wild Thornberries movie. What the fuck? The Wild Thornberries movie? I had no idea. It's by Paul Simon. So there you go.
We
The
could do
Hands That
that on the
Built.
show. That's good. That's good to know.
Honestly, why not? Just for fun. Uh, I thought about that for 2 seconds and I was like, because it's the fucking Wild Thornberries movie. I don't want to do that. The Hands That Built America from Gangs of New York by U2. There you go. And I Move On from Chicago by John Kander and Fred Ebb. Fred Ebb is a great name.
Reddit.
Fred Ebb.
Okay. I get what you're saying about "Lose Yourself." It is overplayed to hell, and the movie
Yeah.
is, yeah, it's whatever. I like it, but yeah, it's very predictable. It's, white boy from Detroit becomes Eminem. I think we all saw that coming.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, him and Anthony Mackie. Like, I love you, dude, but I do not buy you as like a Detroit underground rapper. Like, just
Well,
no.
that was the point. The guy was like from the affluent neighborhood trying to act like he was a gangsta, and Eminem called him on that shit.
It's like, yeah, you're not from the hood like I am.
Watching B Rabbit bitch slap the Falcon with his dope rhymes was a cool moment.
I forgot his name's B Rabbit. Like, Jesus Christ. Oh my God. And like the scenes of him like on the bus, like looking out the window and being like, oh yeah. And like writing down, like, yeah, there. Just like, Jesus. I liked it. I liked it when I was a kid, but like I watched it maybe a couple years ago and I was like, this isn't good. It's not a good movie.
When did you last look in the mirror and realize you had grown up?
That's a great question. It's probably been a few weeks since I like truly looked at myself in the mirror. I don't like looking at myself in the mirror. It trips me out. Like, oh God, I'm a person. Whoa. And you just stand there and you're like, this is what people see. It's just weird. Realizing you're a human.
That's true. All right. I love that Eminem won this. It's a cool song. My personal favorite from that year is The Hands That Built America from Gangs of New York.
Hands down. Shut it down. Yeah. Like on Deal or No Deal, when they like hit the button or like close the thing, like I close the thing. I'm like, yeah, no, it's The Hands That Built America.
Real quick, that is the dumbest fucking game show ever. You're just watching somebody pick suitcases. There's no trivia. There's no game.
It's a joke.
Yeah. You're just watching Howie Mandel not shake hands. I don't want to see this.
Yeah, and yeah, I could go on about Howie Mandel being so goddamn weird, but
and then there's weirdos out there who buy the fucking home game. Are you kidding me?
I used to play the game like at just because it was an easy way to get tickets at like Dave and Buster's and stuff. I'd be like, this is just like an easy way to guarantee tickets.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I've always been a degenerate. I used to play Deal or No Deal, and now I fucking gamble. Yeah. Okay, so we're in agreement here. The Hands That Built America. It's also like the place that it has in the movie, like you explained later. It's just like actually really cool. So I'm with you. Next up is best cinematography. Always a cool category to go to. Here, I actually agree with the movie that won. It's Road to Perdition, Conrad L. Hall. It beat Chicago, which is Dion Beebe. Cool name. Dion Beebe? Beebe?
I think it's BB.
BB. Even better. Far From Heaven, Edward Lockman. Gangs of New York, Michael Ballhaus. I've seen that name plenty of times. Ballhaus? I don't know. Ballhaus.
I didn't want to say anything, but yeah. Ballhaus.
Okay. Ballhaus. That's also a fun name. And then the pianist, I'm going to guess the pianist, this guy's, it's probably pronounced Pavel? Edelman?
Pavel, probably.
Pavel, looks like a Polish name, actually, the way it's kind of, yeah. Anyways, I agree with this. Conrad L. Hall putting in a shift. Road to Perdition is gorgeous.
We did an entire episode on Road to Perdition focused around cinematography. So we definitely go to bat for that movie and that win.
Yeah, we both love that movie. It's one of those that we just like had to do on this show. So yeah, no disagreements here. Best adapted screenplay, The Pianist won. That's Ronald Harwood. About a Boy, Peter Hedges, Lucas Hedges' dad, Chris Weitz and Paul Weitz. Adaptation written by Charlie Kaufman. Chicago written by Bill Condon. Condon. I don't know.
Condon. There's no way his name is pronounced like condom. That's not. No way.
I was just hoping. And The Hours, written by David Hare. I might go The Hours.
I thought you were going to go adaptation, but
yeah. Fuck.
I'm going to go The Hours as well, because we're talking adapted screenplay here. And frankly, adaptation is a shit adaptation of The Orchid Thief.
There you go. Good point. Good point.
That
I
should
like
be
that.
an original screenplay.
Yeah. That's probably my favorite screenplay if we weren't talking about categorizing it. Yeah. Oh, good shit. Let's jump to. This is tough. Should we do director or do we do the acting categories first?
Let's go director. Let's do that.
All right. So Rob Marshall. Well, yeah. Let's go to best director. We have Mr. Roman Polanski winning for The Pianist. We don't really need to speak about him much more. He beat Rob Marshall for Chicago, Martin Scorsese for Gangs of New York, Stephen Daldry for The Hours, and Pedro Almodovar for Talk to Her. I didn't know he was up. I didn't know that. I knew the screenplay was a win. I like completely forgot that. Believe it or not, I'm going Stephen Daldry.
I'm going Rob Marshall.
How about that? Chicago.
Yeah. It takes so much effort to direct a musical and to really make something that works and is timed correctly. And there's a lot of balls you're juggling. So much so that you may need a ball house. But
yeah.
I praise Rob Marshall for pulling that off. I think he did a great job.
Okay. I like that. I respect it. So yeah, we both would strip this away from Polanski as fast as we can.
I want to go to Paris right now and physically take it away from him.
Yeah, but like I don't want that like around me. Like his Oscar, I'm like I feel like that would bring like bad juju. Like
that would be a fun like week trip. We go to Paris and we break into Roman Polanski's house and steal his Oscar.
That would be a great movie.
That would be I'm gonna write that down. That'd be a great story.
It would be, yeah. A couple of wankers going to Paris trying to steal an Oscar. He's like, oh, and you like find him and you're like, that's that fucker Roman Polanski. And we're like, we gotta like take him hostage and find his Oscar. And he's like, oh no, I sold that shit. And we're like, no. That's the end of the movie. Oh, never mind. I was gonna say something kind of dark, but I probably shouldn't.
Save it for when we're done here because I want to hear it.
Okay. Best supporting actress. This one's tough because we're kind of jumping. I don't know. Let's save that one for later. So let's do best supporting actor. John C. Reilly. Yeah, God, this is a group. Holy hell. When in doubt, find the supporting actor category and you will find a good group of men putting in great work. The winner, Chris Cooper for adaptation. Hell of a performance. Ed Harris in The Hours. Hell of a performance. Paul Newman in Road to Perdition. Hall of Fame performance. John C. Reilly in Chicago. Awesome. Christopher Walken in Catch Me If You Can. Awesome. Like this, come on. It doesn't get any better.
Yeah, this is a fantastic group of actors. I'm glad I've seen all these films. This is hard. Just because it is kind of his swan song, I want to give it to Paul Newman because to still have that in him. Like he died like 4, 5, 6 years after this.
Yeah.
And at the time,
Cars was like his last movie.
Yeah. He didn't have to this could have been a paycheck gig. You put on an old suit, you play a gangster for 2 hours, but no, he humanizes John Rooney. He makes you feel sorry for him. He makes you hate him. You go through the whole range of emotions with this guy because Paul Newman cared enough to really sell it. And it's amazing. So I would give this to Paul Newman.
Okay. Oh, geez. It's been a minute since I've seen Catch Me If You Can, but I love Christopher Walken, but I don't think he's, like winning this here. John C. Reilly, same thing. I love him, but I don't think he's winning. I think this is a three-headed race between Cooper, Harris, and Newman. I ultimately agree with the Academy. I think I give it to Cooper. I think that performance is so surprising. Like how good he is in that movie is so shocking. I love Chris Cooper. Underrated.
Well, it's such an odd character. It's such a weird.
Yeah.
Like who the hell is this guy? Why is he here? What is he doing?
Going through the swamps. Yeah.
It's so bizarre. So yeah, I get that.
What a group, though. Jesus. Now that's a heist movie I want to see. Those 5 guys. Fucking hell. All right. Best actress, and then we'll move on to the Chicago winners. Nicole Kidman wins for The Hours. Salma Hayek is up for Frida. Diane Lane for Unfaithful. Julianne Moore for Far From Heaven. And Renee Zellweger for Chicago. God, what a group that is, too. Jesus. I can't speak to Unfaithful or Far From Heaven, that sucks because I like both those ladies.
I can't speak, for either of those or Frida. I have a feeling that when I watch Frida, I am going to go to bat for that movie.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But right now, as it stands, I do think Nicole Kidman deserved this.
That's where I lean as well. I love Salma Hayek, but yeah, Nicole, this is just one of those kind of transformative, like, whoa, like she is really, really acting. God, Nicole, love her to death. Need to see Far From Heaven though, because Julianne Moore, she always steals my heart. So that, you never know. All right, the winners. We're gonna go back down to some technical awards. We'll start with Best Sound, our favorite category. Our thoughts on this category have evolved over time, especially when we went to the Academy Museum. We both were kind of like, okay, I get it. I understand this. This would actually be a pretty cool job.
It would. I have no qualms about the job or the films nominated. It's all about the name of the award for me. Best sound, it just sounds so vague. Nobody knows what you're talking about unless you pay the admission to the museum and go see them talk about it. So I think just best sound design covers everything. But
yeah, because you also have sound editing is like a separate category. It's like, should we combine those as one or like what? Yeah, what's the deal here? Because I'm not quite sure 99% of people who pay attention to movies and watch the Oscars, it's not that many left, but I don't think they care to know the difference. You could cut out a whole category. All right, best sound, Chicago wins, beats Gangs of New York, Two Towers, Road to Perdition, and Spider-Man. That's a group of movies. Best sound, I think I might lean towards Spider-Man.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Musicals tend to take this one, but the sound design in Spider-Man is impeccable. Just, the thwips of the webs and the goblin laugh and the glider noises and just like the web slinging. It's such a specific sound. Like I hear that, I immediately think, oh, that's 2002 Spider-Man. And that's special.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'd go with that one, and then Two Towers. I mean, good God, it's got to be tough to incorporate those sounds of swords clashing with with the images. That was one of the coolest things was watching Indiana Jones like be explained to us at the Academy Museum. So we were like, oh shit, like there's people literally just at their house like driving a car over gravel and recording that sound to get the
Real quick, I have a cool sound design story that is neat. In the X-Files, there's this whenever we meet this character called the Alien Bounty Hunter, who's this like hulking dude played by Brian Thompson, who shows up to kill aliens who are on Earth illegally, and he has this weapon that looks like an ice pick, and he presses a button and like this thing comes out and it's like this thwip noise. And I found out that the thwip noise, super unique to the show, is the show's creator, Chris Carter, just going like,
what?
That's all it is. And it's such a unique sound to that weapon and that show. And that's all it is. It's Chris Carter going, that's fucking awesome. So yeah, sound design's so cool.
So one day, was he just walking around set like, and they're like, oh, I like that.
I think they were trying to figure out like, what is this thing going to sound like? And he just got in a booth and was like trying some stuff.
Kazam!
Up and away.
Yeah. Go web. Fly. I love that scene. Oh, that's cool. I love that. That's I'm gonna walk around doing that now. Hopefully someone will be like, hey, I can use that. All right, best film editing. Chicago gets the win. It beats Gangs of New York, The Hours, Two Towers, and The Pianist. This is the best picture group transferred over to film editing. A lot of times, a movie that wins film editing is going to at least be nominated for best picture. It's one of those kind of crossover categories, and I get that here. I get it. You're implementing, the different settings of, the like nightclub scene and the jail cells and stuff. Like I get kind of going back and forth and like making it coherent. But damn, It must not be easy to edit one of those fucking massive Lord of the Rings movies.
Well, no, I mean the amount of footage they shot, like they had, they made two versions of each film. So yeah,
Yeah, it probably wasn't exactly fun either. They're like, oh, good God, how many orcs do I have to look at today?
we got 3 years worth of giant epic footage to weave three movies that are going to be analyzed to death by longtime fans. So this has to work. This really has to work.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think I'd give the win to Two Towers.
I think this one 100% deserves to go to the hours.
That's fair because you're weaving three
Yeah.
completely opposite timelines. Yeah.
Coherently, none of the cuts are jarring. We're like, oh, what are we doing here now? It's all told seamlessly. That was impressive work.
You know what did it for me? Because I vaguely knew, because I had seen this years ago, so I was kind of like, okay, I'm a little bit familiar with this movie, but not really. When you see something as a teenager and you see it now, you're like,
Yeah.
completely missed the point. Completely missed the point of the movie. That happens to me a lot with movies that I've only seen once, like 12 years ago. With this one, at the very beginning of the movie, they make it clear where you're at. They go 1921 or whatever, 1922, whatever it is for Nicole Kidman, 1951 for Julianne Moore, and 2001 for Meryl Streep. So you're very aware. They make those nice, beautiful cuts right at the beginning of the movie, and you're like, okay, I'm in. So now I know if I'm with her, I'm here. If I'm with her, I'm here, and bang, bang, bang. Like they made it pretty easy. So yeah, that's actually a good shout out.
Cool. Yeah, that was the first thing I was impressed by with the hours was how well it was edited.
Just seamless,
Yeah.
seamless stuff. So yeah, I can't complain about that. I think musicals, like no matter what, always dominate costume design. Like period pieces, musicals, like they tend to destroy. That's what Chicago did here. Beat Frida, Gangs of New York, The Hours, and The Pianist. I mean, yeah, come on. Like, there's nothing really like that unique or interesting in this category. It's all just like, yeah, those
Yeah.
are all typically up.
It's all 20th century period film.
Where's Spider-Man?
Yeah, suits and dresses. That's all we got here. I think Lord of the Rings should be in here. Spider-Man, fucking Star Wars should be in here.
There you go.
Yeah, Jango Fett's Mandalorian armor alone should give Star Wars the win here.
You know what the coolest costume decision of that year was giving Adam Sandler the blue suit for Punch Drunk Love. Come on.
It is, yeah. He wears that power suit like a man who has no power.
Yes. Yes. That's goddamn right. All right, we got three more categories. I mean, best picture we've already talked about, so really just two more. Best art direction, set decoration. This one is also one that makes sense. Musicals tend to do really well. Period pieces, we got Chicago winning, Frida, Gangs of New York, Two Towers, and Road to Perdition. I mean, art direction isn't something like Lord of the Rings. Like, I mean, like just the scale of it.
But how much of that is built sets and how much of that is New Zealand?
Yeah. New Zealand is gorgeous. Yeah.
Did we just give God the Oscar in that case?
Here you go, Lord. So Road to Perdition, I feel like is using, specific spots and locations like to its advantage. Like it like knows exactly where it wants to go and like what kind of time period they want to be in. And God, that movie just kicks ass. I don't know. What's your vote?
I'm giving this to Gangs in New York.
Okay, that's totally fair. The what they do with the points. Oh my God.
Well, Road to Perdition is 20 Chicago. We all can kind of picture that. It's done really well. But the New York that we see in Gangs in New York was destroyed. It was rebuilt by people who forgot that history. So to see kind of a proto Manhattan is really cool, and it's done really well, and it looks like a unique time and place. It could be like a fantasy setting.
Yeah, that's true. I like that. That's a good call. This one's actually kind of tough, because I see an argument for Chicago as well. So like,
Yeah,
I think they all have something to say. It's It's an interesting group overall. Let's see. We got Best Actress in a Supporting Role. We have two people from Chicago up in here, including Queen Latifah. So awesome. Catherine Zeta-Jones got the win for Chicago, of course. Kathy Bates was up for About Schmidt. Fucking Kathy Bates, baby. Julianne Moore up for The Hours. Queen Latifah up for Chicago, and Meryl Streep for Adaptation. So should Meryl Streep have two? Should she be up for The Hours and Adaptation?
At that point, I mean, how many pats on the back can you get before you fall over? But I think she's I don't
Oh,
I
careful now.
I know I'm trying to work. I've already upset you enough tonight. I'm trying not to.
No, I hear what you're gonna say. I do think she's as good in The Hours as she is in Adaptation. Like
There we
they're
go.
they're interchangeable.
Yeah, all right. There we go. That's a neutral way.
She might be better in The Hours. I did just watch that, and I haven't seen Adaptation since we did probably the Nicolas Cage episode.
Mhm.
It's been a minute. Sometimes, you know, with specifically with performances, I can be like recency bias. I can be like, oh, like that fucking moved me like crazy, and then I'm like, oh yeah, but this too, you know.
Yeah.
But with Meryl Streep, it's like, yeah, I mean, sure, you could take Queen Latifah out and put her in for The Hours, and like I wouldn't have a problem with it. Or take out Kathy Bates, or I don't know, Julianne Moore is so good in The Hours too. This is tough.
If Meryl Streep in The Hours was in here, I'd give it to her. Just, you know, like scenes where she breaks down in her kitchen when she's talking to Jeff Daniels and then just shuts it off because she's
dude.
Like, I will not be weakened by this man. It's like, fuck, how do you do that? And then her reaction to the suicide is so real.
Yeah, we've obviously alluded to this, and it's kind of your fault if the movie was spoiled. It's 20 years old.
Yeah.
The most powerful scene of the movie is Ed Harris opening the window and falling, like, you know, just it's not even like jump. It's not a jump because he's in a wheelchair the whole time. It's a fall. It's like a actual just boom, just like a free fall. Meryl Streep, the reaction, like, you know, a lot of people say a huge chunk of acting is reacting. Like, Meryl Streep is the best at it. Like, she's so good at just looking at something and the camera's right there, and you catch everything from her, and god damn. That scene alone, like, that would be like the face she makes in that scene is like what I see when I think of this movie now. And what I think of her, really, you know, I mean, I think of a lot of, you know, scenes from Sophie's Choice and Kramer's Kramer, Deer Hunter, like the old stuff, but I don't know. There's something about that scene in particular that was like, wow, there's a reason people adore her.
Yeah, I totally get it. However, she is not here for The Hours.
Correct.
I give it to Julianne Moore. Her character is
yeah.
Go ahead.
I probably would too. That's all I was gonna say. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think she's playing the most complex character in The Hours. She's going through so many horrible things at once. You know, ignoring her sexuality, resenting her husband, hating the fact that she's a mother, contemplating suicide, all at the same time. And I see every one of those things in her performance. It is so grounded in reality and so effective. And yeah, I'm honestly surprised she didn't win this.
Is Julianne Moore the best at like hopelessness?
She fucking might be, man. I mean, that's a dark talent, but yeah,
she has it. She has it. It starts in Boogie Nights. It starts in Boogie Nights when she breaks down after she loses custody completely of her kid. When that movie turns to like, oh my god, this just got dark. A big part of like why it feels so dark is because she's with her ex-husband in that room and they're talking it out, and he's like, you're a fucking porno actress, you do drugs. And the way she reacts after that, and she's crying outside of like the office that they're in. And then what she does in Magnolia, you're like, oh my god, you know, they're admittedly she's really, really going for that movie. There's like a little bit of overacting because she's just like, you don't tell me what I can do. You don't tell me my life. But you could just feel the just complete drained part of her soul. Like it's just gone. And in the hours you feel it, and it's the 50s. She's dealing with her sexuality in the 50s, and she's dealing with, oh, like I have this perfect house, perfect, got the husband, got the kid, I can just sit back at home and make cake for my husband, like that whole just
The
real depressing idea that Americans are given. And she, with like 30 minutes runtime, she gives you everything. Oh, it's
yeah,
brilliant.
you fully believe that the American dream is her waking nightmare.
Yeah.
And it's sold so well. And then when she comes back at the end and she's like, I know why he wrote me, why he wrote my death. It's like, I know why he hated me, but she has no regrets. She's like, I lived my life my way. It's like, fuck. How do you reconcile that? I kept thinking of The Lost Daughter.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, what does she win her Oscar for? A movie about an esteemed professor losing herself to Alzheimer's. I mean,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, Julianne. Somebody give her a hug.
Yeah. Even a movie that's supposed to be like fun, like the kids are all right.
Yeah.
Another one where she's like, "Am I like what am I doing?" Like what?
I've never thought about this, but you're 100% right.
She's, I call I call Ethan Hawke my movie dad. Julianne Moore is my movie mom. I love Julianne Moore. I've obviously got a serious affinity to her because of her work with Paul Thomas Anderson. But it's not just that, it's all these other things that every time I watch her, I'm like, like this movie's not like this movie doesn't deserve her. Again, another movie that's supposed to be funny, Don John. This movie like about a porn addiction with Joseph Gordon-Levitt. She comes into the movie about halfway, and you're like, everything just changed. Like Julianne Moore is on the screen, and she's destroying everybody in her path. And she's like an idol.
That's another reason I love the movie Evolution, because she's in that as a clumsy CDC doctor who has the hots for David Duchovny. That's fine. It's just a little bit of, I'm going to do a sci-fi comedy for a bit, take a paycheck, and be the most talented person in this movie. And it's just nice to not see her, dying or have, custody taken away or something. It's just aliens and David Duchovny.
Yeah, there you go. That's the best. After all this conversation, I'm kind of like, all right. I mentioned this earlier. It's time to see Far From Heaven because she's the star in that movie. It's from 2002. It's written and directed by Todd Haynes. She's alongside Dennis Quaid in that movie. I'm like, I bet she acts in circles around him. I need to see this movie. It looks right up my alley, and apparently it's one of her best performances. So like, I've got to check it out. Viola Davis is also in it. Fuck yeah. Give me some Julianne Moore and Viola Davis in the same movie in 1950s Connecticut. I'm in.
It does sound like your like Mad Lib movie.
Yeah, like I wrote it. Yeah, yeah. She's great. I love her. So I think we're both choosing her after all. After all that. So we've covered every category. Obviously, you know where we stand with Best Picture. Connor's going with Gangs of New York. I'm going with Two Towers, like straight up. And it's a good year. It's a good ceremony. We've talked about a lot of good movies.
Yeah, this has been one of my favorite episodes that we've done. This has been great.
Yeah, I've had a blast as well. 20th Best Picture Showdown. It should be that way. You know what I mean? It should be this fun. So that I guess that fucking wraps it up. We've kind of covered everything I wanted to cover. This has been great. Let's see. This week on our shows, before I say what we're doing on the other shows, can the audience expect a Fake True Stories coming soon, or when is that?
We are planning on recording in the next couple weeks. Our planned movie is A League of Their Own, 1992.
That's right. Yep.
Baseball dramedy. So we'll see. Hopefully, barring schedule, because we're both working on our theses. I should probably learn the plural of that. But we're both working on that, so we're gonna try to set some time aside to get another fake true stories out there.
Okay, sweet. There you go. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. If you haven't listened to that first episode on 300, you guys get to that. It was really cool. Big time change of pace, and Isabel knows her shit. So it's a good episode. On Wednesday, FILMGAZM will be covering Black Friday. Fitting.
Yeah, this is a funny ass movie from last year. Just, a good old zombie horror comedy with Bruce Campbell as the manager of a toy store.
Super fun. Yeah. Like, can't go wrong. It's nice to do movies like that every now and again. And during the holidays, we're going to be doing a lot of cool shit. On Beyond the Bad Friday will be Once Bitten. Have not seen this.
Yeah, super early Jim Carrey. I think he's still James Carrey at the time. It's a terrible vampire comedy that has kind of become a bit of a cult classic in recent years. So we're gonna see if it deserves that status.
Okay, cool. I'm excited for that. Next week on this show, we're going to be doing a foreign film, an old foreign film that neither of us have seen yet, called Bicycle Thieves or The Bicycle Thief. I don't know. Depends how, it's got like multiple names. Either way, bicycle's in there and thief is in there in some manner. 1948. It's available on HBO Max and Criterion Channel. It's one of those kind of certified old school, foreign heavy hitters. Again, neither of us have seen it, so we got to check it out. We're going to hopefully talk a little bit about Italian filmmaking, talk about foreign filmmaking, and a movie that was up for one Oscar. So, I'm excited to kind of change up the pace. Well, it was up for one Oscar for screenplay, and then it won like the honorary award before they had like the proper foreign language film category.
Yeah,
like Rashomon won that like the honorary foreign language film award. Bicycle Thieves did the same thing, 1948. So that's gonna be cool to kind of go back to that era. We haven't done like an old foreign movie like this in a long time. We did Parasite recently, but is this the oldest? It's got to be because we did Rashomon.
Woman in the Dunes was 64. La Strada was 54.
54, yeah. Day for Night was 1973.
Yeah, Rashomon's 50. So I think this is the oldest.
Yeah, this is the oldest. Yeah, so good for us. We're gonna give it a go. We're gonna give it our best. I had something else planned for that episode, but something happened where I was like, the movie gods are speaking to me. So it's time to change the schedule, and we're gonna do something kind of challenging. I'm excited. Again, check it out on HBO Max if you have it, or the Criterion Channel if you have it, and come back and listen with us and talk about some movies. Keep following us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter at FILMGAZM. Check out the fucking website. And Connor and I have a really cool project we're probably going to start here soon, and I can't wait to talk about it on some of our shows. Nothing that has to do with podcast, really. We're gonna do our own creative project that I'm super fucking amped up for, but we will talk about it, just as we go along, I'm sure. And hopefully be able to share it with people. Maybe we're gonna try to really knock it out over the next year and do something really special that neither of us have really gotten to do before. So can't wait for that. Keep listening, keep watching movies, and we'll see you guys on Wednesday.